Americans held hostage, abandoned behind enemy lines. Day 62.
And welcome to Hannity this busy news-making Friday night. 62 days. Our fellow Americans, their families, our friends, green card holders, our allies, Joe Biden abandoned all of them. Oh, and he hasn't talked about them in over 40 days. And now the images coming out of Afghanistan, they are horrific. Everything we told you would happen. Look at these pictures obtained by Congressman Michael Waltz, showing one female Afghan national soldier bloody and bruised after a severe beating by the Taliban terrorists. They broke her arms and they broke her ribs. Congressman Waltz will join us tonight. And that's not all. Coming up, we'll show you a truly disgusting video of young kids purportedly murdered by the Taliban. Now, these are not the business-like professional diplomats as characterized by Biden and his spinmeister and propagandist Jen Psaki. Now, these are evil terrorists. And Joe, this week he announced, if you're part of the Taliban from the old regime, you're welcome to America. We'll take you off the terror watch list. These are people now that are going house to house, identifying any person that was allied with us, murdering entire families, men, women, and children, and their reign of terror is ripping through the entire country. Joe Biden hasn't said one single word about the people he abandoned in over 45 days. Joe Biden isn't just incompetent and a cognitive mess, he's also, frankly, morally bankrupt and vile. And yes, John Androsik is right. He has blood on his hands. And now as inflation is spiraling out of control, well, Joe's out there hawking $4 trillion in new spending, lecturing all of us that we've got to pay our fair share. You know what? We are paying our fair share. We're paying more for everything. And we're paying more for energy and oil, the lifeblood of the world's economy, as you beg OPEC to produce more oil. You're the one that made us energy dependent again. You were handed energy independence and secure borders and a real plan to get everybody out of Afghanistan safely. Take a look.
I'm a capitalist, but guess what? I'm also listed for 36 years as the poorest man in the Congress. But I make big money now. I'm a president. You know, when I talk to all your folks out in the playground, as I joked, and said, everybody knows I like kids better than people. Fortunately, they'll like me. That's why maybe I like them. And be honest with you, we're probably not going to get $3.5 trillion this year. We're going to get something less than that. But I'm going to negotiate it. I'm going to get it done with the grace of God and the goodwill of neighbors and the creek not rising, as my grandpa would say. I'm glad they made a profit. Keep people employed. I mean that sincerely. But pay your fair share.
Pay your fair share. By the way, Market Watch, consumer confidence in Biden's economic policies, 19%. I don't think you can get it any lower than that. Now, how about you start with your own family, Joe? Own family. How about zero experience Hunter? You know, your son under federal investigation for tax fraud and money laundering. You should know all about it. You had a shared bank account. And by the way, you're the big guy, right, that was supposed to get your cut? Does your son Hunter pay his fair share, Joe? Do you pay your fair share? And by the way, Americans are already feeling the effect of Biden's recent spending spree. Just look at your screen. Everything you buy is now more expensive. Gas up 42%. Furniture up double digits. Bacon, I love bacon, up 20%. Steak, 22%. Want to rent a car? 42% higher. Used cars, 24% higher. New car, 8% higher if you can find one. Propane up 27%. He's making Putin rich again with his waiver. Appliances, 7%. Putin, in his case, it's natural gas. And the list goes on and on and on. In September, U.S. wholesale prices rose a whopping 8.6%. That is a record increase from wholesalers. And guess what? That will get passed on to you, the consumer. Who gets impacted the most? Poor people, middle-class Americans. They get the Biden tax increases because they are getting hurt the most. According to the master puppeteer, the ever-compassionate Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, inflation is a high-class problem. Okay. A high-class problem impacting the poor, impacting the middle class. In other words, the people that make this country great, the forgotten men and women that you lied to and said they wouldn't pay a penny in new taxes. You know, we smelly Walmart shoppers that cling to God, our guns, our Bibles, and religion. Those people. Me, in other words. In reality, nearly every major economist in the U.S. is now sounding the alarm. Larry Summers, this is Obama's chief economic advisor, warning, we are in more danger than we have been in during my career of losing control of inflation in the U.S. There is a gathering storm of inflation. The main risk is that our economy is going to overheat, and once it overheats, it's going to be hard to put out the fire without doing a lot of damage and causing a lot of problems. J.P. Morgan CEO also warning that inflation might go higher than people expect. Even Democrat Chucky Schumer, he's whining and complaining. Now, he supports all these idiotic policies and new Green Deal socialism, and he's complaining that his constituents will soon be forced to choose between buying food and heating their homes. Actually, one of the rare times that he said something that's truthful. Take a look.
There's a new worry that with every touch of our thermostats this winter, many seniors and working families will also have to reach much deeper into their pockets. So given that, it's my job to turn up the heat on the federal government before this worry manifests itself into real trouble. No family should have to choose between heating their home or putting food on the table. But that's what a lot of people, particularly seniors.
Wait a minute. Joe Biden's puppeteer said this is a high-class problem. Right, Ron Klain? By the way, Senator Schumer, you have control of the Senate, you have control of the House, and you have control of the White House. These are your problems that you've created, along with Joe Biden. Now, to make matters even worse, America's supply chain, as we've been telling you, is in tatters. We have billions and billions of dollars worth of products now stuck at ports. Now, some containers aren't even able to come on shore. Massive backlogs in both California and New York. Now, bare shelves Biden, hashtag bare shelves Biden, it's trending all over Twitter. Americans posting pictures of stores that are pretty much empty shelves. Anyway, get this, a report from Reuters. Our supply chain is too snarled for Biden's Christmas fix. In other words, good luck getting the presents that your kids are begging for from Santa. Probably not going to happen. But according to Transportation Secretary, the ever-compassionate Mayor Pete, who said to pink-slipped Keystone XL pipeline workers, just get another job. Yeah, that guy with all that compassion and experience, the mayor of South Bend. Well, if you didn't do your Christmas shopping 3 months early, you're just flat out of luck. Explain that to a young child, a young boy or girl. The boy didn't get his train set, the girl didn't get her doll. We're going to say, oh, it's the supply chain. Santa didn't go shopping early enough. Take a look.
Supply chain issues. How bad are they going to get for Americans? And I'm talking specifically, leading here into the December holidays where people are relying on getting goods, on getting presents.
Well, I think there's always been two kinds of Christmas shoppers. There's the ones who have all their list completed by Halloween, and then there's people like me who show up at the mall on Christmas Eve. If you're in that latter bucket, obviously there's going to be more challenges.
Yeah, you could say to your daughter, I know you wanted that special doll, and you asked Santa for the last 6 months, but the problem is Santa didn't go shopping early enough to get the doll. I thought the elves made it. Jen Psaki took it a step further. She wants you to blame UPS and FedEx. It's not our problem. We're not UPS. We're not FedEx. It's your problem. Take a look.
Can this administration guarantee that holiday packages will arrive on time?
We are not the Postal Service or UPS or FedEx. We cannot guarantee. What we can do is use every lever at the federal government disposal to reduce delays.
I don't know, such compassion from all these liberals and the White House propagandists. Great compassion there. It's not our fault. Blame UPS, blame FedEx, blame everybody but Joe. Pretty strange thing to say, because in 2020, then candidate Joe Biden, he talked an awful lot about supply chain issues and shortages. And he said, we don't have a shortage problem. We have a leadership problem. Actually, Joe Biden, he got lucky. He got it right for once. He was right in 2020. Leadership problem is him, not Trump.
I want to make clear to all your listeners that we don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem. One of the reasons why we're not getting material and food to people's tables is because there's no way to get it transported to there. We don't know how to manage what's going on.
No, the leadership problem wasn't then. We had secure borders, energy independence, we had lower taxes. We didn't have an inflation problem. And he gave you also, let's see, not one, not two, but 3 vaccines and monoclonal antibodies that you never mentioned until 2.5 weeks ago. You inherited a country with the economy fully on the mend, all the vaccines, all the therapeutics like monoclonal antibodies, a secure border, energy independence, a stable Afghanistan, and Joe, you ruined it all. We have a leadership problem. Under Biden, many economists now fear a looming recession. According to Peter Navarro in the New York Post, welcome back to 70s-style stagflation misery thanks to Uncle Joe. Peter will join us in a moment. Add to this, Biden's vaccine mandates, when they hit, watch out. What impact is that going to have on the economy? And now causing Americans to, they're willing to get fired. It looks like half the police department in Chicago, they're not going to be working as of next week. And it's going to get worse. Thousands of our military personnel, nurses and first responders and healthcare professionals, you know, the people in the middle of the COVID shift show in March and April of 2020 that every day walked into a petri dish of COVID and were diving on COVID grenades to save fellow Americans' lives in the early months of this pandemic. Now we're going to fire them? I guess that's Joe Biden's way of saying what? Thank you? Because they don't agree with the mandate? Maybe they have a rare condition. Maybe they believe in natural immunity. I'm not here to debate the shot or not, but the reality is you're going to lose some of the best people that risk their lives to save fellow human beings, fellow Americans' lives. But I guess Joe doesn't know about that because he abandoned Americans in Afghanistan 13 days after he said he wouldn't. Half the Chicago police force might be forced to go very soon. We got hundreds of airline employees. They're facing termination. Thousands of teachers, thousands of U.S. servicemen and women have or will be fired in coming weeks. You have state employees. You've got federal employees, members of the military, employees at large, private corporations, all facing termination if they don't comply with the mandate. But Joe Biden refused to answer any questions about all of this.